Let's go, Mario. Michael's comment there, properly catching me just before I even did the introduction. Good morning, everybody. How are we all doing? Sam here, United People's TV. It's Friday. Let's wrap up the week. Let's get the map out a little bit later. Let's preview the Brighton game. Let's run through all the latest United news. Going to speak about JJ Gabriel being in first-team training before the Brighton game. No, it doesn't mean he's going to be in the game against Brighton. I'm not even sure he's actually allowed to make his Premier League debut this season, but it's an exciting bit of progress for a player who really is having a stunning season with the under-18s under Darren Fletcher. We'll speak about him in a bit of detail. We'll speak about the Brighton game, a little bit of Brighton team news. Then we'll speak about Ahmad and Mbumo, Yoro, Cunha, all the players ahead of kickoff. And you can let me know what you think. We'll get a poll up, get your predictions in. And it's Friday, so should be a good day. What's everyone doing this weekend? All right? What am I doing today? Going somewhere, staying at a hotel for a night. Going to relax. Then get the train up from Milton Keynes to the game tomorrow. Looking forward to it. Really looking forward to the game tomorrow. We can speak about predictions and stuff like that. Yeah, good morning to everybody apart from YouTube who has decided again to completely change your usernames. It's so annoying, man. Anyway, nothing I can do about it. Wasn't me. Didn't turn it on. In fact, I've actively tried to turn it off, but they still do it. So you can just have a go at YouTube because it's not my fault. Good morning to you, Toby. Swinging in, gifting 10. You're not tripping. The usernames are indeed messed up again. But good morning to you, Toby. Let's say hello to all the mods. We've got Carl, we've got Josh, we've got Stephanie. Alex, good morning to you as well. And some members. We've got Saeed, we've got Phil, we've got Teresa, Chris, we've got Shmee, we've got Lozmeister. He does look like a real prospect, JJ Gabriel. Jonas, you're going to the doctor and to get your kid to a Halloween party. I'm doing a Halloween party next weekend. What should I dress up as? Arnie Slot? That'd be terrifying. I won't do that. Alex saying first match as head coach of my kids' under-7s team on Sunday. You're going to be like, what's it? The start of... Was it start of Rise of the Foot Soldier? Or is it start of Green Street? What was the other one? Football Factory. You know, when they're arguing with each other across the pitch. I think it's Football Factory. That's going to be you, Alex. You're not supposed to take it seriously with under-7s. They're only under-7s. But you're going to. Guaranteed. Right. Let's run through the news. And I just want to say this, obviously. Sean Dyche comes into Forest. First game at home. They beat Porto. They win 2-0. 2 penalties. I'm really not looking forward to that game next weekend. It's not that we have to win against Brighton to go into that game, but it will be very nice to win 3 on the spin before going to that game at Forest because it's not going to be an enjoyable one. Yeah. We'll say that. No friendlies here. Well, there's no friendlies in the Premier League. Someone down there saying, Sam, I really want to start a football podcast covering United. Don't know where to start. Dude, I'll say this to I get quite a lot of messages and emails like that. I'll say to everybody, there is no quick way in unless you want to be that person who's loud, says crazy opinions, and is a bit of an arsehole. That might get you more attention early, but as soon as that shtick leaves, you're gone. Vamos. So you might think it's more beneficial in the short term, but it's not. It's taken me, I've been doing this, the YouTube channel I started in 2015. 10 years I've been doing this consistently. I'll be honest, it wasn't really until I started doing the live shows and we started properly having conversations here and building a community off the back of that, that things started to change. Definitely, if you've got the personality, you can carry it through. Live shows are the best way to build the community. But yeah, there is no easy way in for anybody, unfortunately. If you want to do it, it's going to be a slog, and you're going to have to manage a full-time job whilst doing it on the side. You're going to have to do both at once. It's not easy, but it's amazing when you reach the point that we've reached, because it's so strong as a consequence. It takes longer to get there, but the foundations are really strong at the end of it. Now, separately, speaking about sort of starting podcasts and stuff, this is a bit random, but it's Haaland started a YouTube channel yesterday. I really wish that he was a bit of a dick. Really wish it would be easy just to like, nah, I don't like it. Actually seems like a pretty decent dude. Does a lot of the stuff that I would do. Loves grilling, loves tomahawk steaks, bit of a sauna, bit of an ice bath. Yes, I can vibe with that. But I expect this to be a trend which continues, right? Expect there to be Manchester United players over the next few, like James Maddison, I think, started a YouTube channel as well. YouTube was looked down upon for a good long time. It can't be looked down upon anymore. It's been a massive shift in how people actually consume content. And actually, a lot of people now watch it on TV. I think I've said this to you before. 25% of the views on United People's TV on a month-by-month basis, they're on the TV now. If I go back to the very beginning and I looked at the mobile versus computer, it was mobile like 80, 90%. But now 25% of people are watching on TV. So it's about, and this is, I didn't realize this, but it kind of syncs up with my desire to do more high quality content because it looks better on TV. Anyway, just Haaland launching a channel there. I expect everyone get your guesses in randomness. Who would you predict would be the first Manchester United first team player in the squad to make a YouTube channel? Lyle, you saying down there it's a Ronaldo effect? Man, look, I know Ronaldo's YouTube channel like blew up and the numbers were incredible. I swear to God, if he just got somebody who actually knew what they were doing from a YouTube perspective, that would have been double. Maybe not double, but it would have been significantly more. You could tell that the people behind it, they didn't really know what they were doing, but because it was Ronaldo, it carried through. Could have been so much more successful. Couple of you saying Ahmad, 3 of you saying Ahmad. Someone saying it's Cobby. Cunha. I don't think it'll be Cunha. Could you imagine an Ahmad YouTube channel? It'd be like, what was Rio's prank show back in the day called? You Got Murked. I remember that. Do you remember when he pranked David Beckham? If you've never watched that, YouTube it. I think it was Rio, You Got Murked. He should bring that. He should bring that back 100%. It's one of the best things that Rio ever did. Daz, you're saying, can the club put a stop to it? It depends on what's written inside their contracts. But I suppose this sort of stuff is to do with image rights and your own image rights. I don't quite know. But I would expect it to happen with Manchester United players. So I suppose just watch this space is kind of what I'm saying. So I thought it was interesting that Haaland did that. Ahmad Unfiltered. It would be funny. It would be funny. Sonny Longman's go live with a GoPro feed. What, like Ben Foster? I don't think that will happen. Well, that won't happen at Manchester United. All right. Can I just quickly say 2 things about some videos we put out? This one was a big one for me yesterday. A big one. We dropped the podcast, the full video version of the podcast, on the main channel. And it's the first time on the main channel for a long, long time that there's been me alongside some new faces. And anybody who's been a member or a subscriber or a watcher for long enough will know how long I've wanted to bring new faces in. Because it reaches a point where there's only so much I can do before I get a little bit of burnout or I'm simply too busy to do everything. So to bring in Dan and to bring in Nick, I think the first 3 pods, I think each pod, it's been getting better and better. I thought that was the best pod that we did so far. The conversation flows a little bit easier, a little bit nicer. I'm going to be meeting Dan at the Brighton game on Saturday. I hope you enjoy it. So thank you everybody that did leave a comment. And if I can ask all of you to just engage with it when you see it. They're going to be released in video form on Monday and Thursday at 7 p.m. So if you can watch it, you can drop a like on it. It makes a big, big difference because it's a brand new format into a channel in a community which hasn't really seen 30, 40-minute conversations between 3 people. It's not really the content you're used to. So it will take some time to settle in, but we're not going anywhere. So thank you all for engaging with it, watching it, and leaving a comment. And thank you all for the comments I can see down in the live chat. Phil saying the podcast's great. Dan and Nick, or Dancing and Nick is very likable. Don't know, Mike, if you like dancing too. Yeah, Dan's class, and Nick's really got really good insight, I think, into how to look at games. in a different perspective to how it was Nick after the Liverpool game was speaking about winning the second balls, because I was like, why is he not getting it long all the time? Oh, yeah. Now that you say that, makes sense. It's a good pod, I think. And on top of that, that's what I mean. Is a day of first yesterday on the channel. So we also launched a new series that we're going to be starting. It's not called Scouting Series, but it's effectively a scouting series. And we took a look at Carlos Baleba's season so far. I told you about a month ago, I think, that we were working on this. And we finally released the first one. The next one will be coming out hopefully next Thursday. And it's going to be on Elliot Anderson ahead of the Forest game, in the same way that this one was the Carlos Baleba one ahead of the Brighton game. And then we're going to do Adam Wharton. We won't wait until the Crystal Palace game. We'll probably do that a week after. Carl's saying, Sam, is the number for the new pod the same as the previous one? Yeah, the number for the pod, I think, is in the description. I think so anyway. But yeah, thank you all for your comments on that. Lots of you seem to enjoy it. And lots of you left comments on what one you'd like to see us do next. Quite a few shouts for Angelo Stiller. And this came out from TalkSport yesterday, just talking about 6 names being on a shortlist. Maybe we'll end up covering all 6. I don't particularly know. Do I really want to do a scouting video on Conor Gallagher? Do I think that would be worth it? I'm a bit hesitant on that one, if I'm being completely honest. Andre Santos, is that the one from Chelsea? I think it is. But we're definitely doing, it was always a plan to do one on Carlos Baleba, which we started with. Next one to be Elliot Anderson, and the one after that to be Adam Wharton. Past that, we'll probably do one on Angelo Stiller. I'd love to do one on Bouadi from Lille, the 18-year-old, because there's been a lot of conversation about him. Is he at the same point now in his career that Lenny Yoro was before we signed him? I think it's going to be interesting. So we're going to probably take a look at some younger players from around. I mean, Hayden Hackney might be one that we could have a conversation about. You're saying Lucien Agume? Is that one from, is it Sevilla? Can't remember. Either way, this is going to be a series that we continue across the season, so that by the time the summer comes around, all of you will be like, oh, okay, well, I know a bit more about that player because I've been following the videos on United People's TV, so I've kind of know how his season has gone. That's the purpose of the videos. It's not to make crazy transfer sensationalism during the season, but it's kind of hard to consume so much football 24/7 everywhere. And that's what these videos are there for, to help keep you informed of what they're doing. It also helps me. But yeah, hope you enjoyed this. Hope you enjoyed that. And as I said, the podcast dropping yesterday. And then on top of that, we dropped the new stadium video, which was, as I said, one of the biggest videos that we've done so far. I just want to say thank you all to everybody. Alex saying, can you make a separate playlist for the series? I think we probably will. Might wait until we've got a couple of them before we do it. Wayne is saying, what about Morten Hjulmand? Yeah, maybe. As I said, if you wanted to, you could throw like 20, 30 midfielders at me that all we could do videos on. But these videos are no joke. So we're not just going to do it on anybody that's a bit of a random link. Not a random link, but Morten Hjulmand, do I think we're going to sign him? Maybe, maybe not. I'm just not sure that he would deserve a full video in this sense. But Elliot Anderson definitely does. Adam Wharton definitely does. And then past that, maybe Angelo Stiller, and we'll see what else goes next. King Fire saying, will they be for different positions or just midfielders, Sam? At the moment, as this moment in time to begin with, we're just doing midfielders because that's clearly United's priority in the summer. It obviously is. Last season was the attacking overhaul. This season, this summer, is going to be the midfield overhaul. And it might happen in January as well. We don't quite know that. Now, oh God, De Jong video. Luckily, he just signed a new contract at Barcelona. So no De Jong conversations. Moving on to Xerxes in attack. This is from Rich Fay. Is that from Manchester Evening News? I think it is. Yeah, Manchester Evening News. And it's about Xerxes. There seems to be, I suppose it's because Xerxes in the shadows. Xerxes not really getting the opportunity to play much, but it's just a lot of, I suppose, speculation. Is that the way to call it? It's just speculation about his future, about how Ruben Amorim sees it, about what he wants to do in January, about whether or not he's unhappy at the club. Well, I can tell you, I haven't got Xerxes' number. I haven't been speaking to him, but of course he's unhappy. He's put the hard yards in, and he's not getting any minutes, and he's just having to watch the season from the bench. But then if you looked at how he was after the game against Liverpool, he was beaming from ear to ear. Really happy for everybody else. So he wasn't sitting there glum and saying, oh, well, I don't care, you won. I didn't play. I think Xerxes leaves in January. I think he leaves on loan. That's my prediction. Blazer Runner saying, good morning, Sam. Jumped on late. Is JJ going to be on the bench against Brighton? He will not be on the bench against Brighton. But speaking of Brighton, let's move on and let's speak about it. In fact, after I read some of your comments out on Xerxes, John, you're saying he's a Ten Hag player, so no surprise. Ruben Amorim wants his own players. I don't think it's to do with the fact that he didn't sign him. I think it's just to do with the fact that Xerxes doesn't specifically fit a role that Ruben Amorim has for him. I suppose you could say the same thing about Kobbie Mainoo. Doesn't make Kobbie Mainoo a crap player in any way, shape or form. But I've already spoken about it. Manny, you're saying down there it's unfortunate timing for him. You mentioned it as well about Šeško. Andy Mitten's already said, remember that pod I pulled up? Not pod. The interview we did with Jay out in America. He was saying, look, United wanted Šeško. Wanted him a year ago. But we couldn't get him. Then we got Xerxes instead. And then we got Šeško. And then we signed Cunha. And it's just, unfortunately for him, the strategy has shifted after we've signed him. Therefore, he's behind Šeško in the pecking order up front. And not right now, not even Šeško starting. Will Šeško start against Brighton? It's not guaranteed. I'll give you my starting 11. It goes out at lunchtime. But let's speak about Brighton. All right. One little bit of news is Mitoma might miss the game. So, I think he's missed their last couple of games. And they've still been in pretty damn decent form. I think you're probably looking at Danger Man. You've got to be looking at Minte, haven't you? Actually, that's a lie. Rutter in midfield. Brighton, I was watching the extended highlights of the game against Newcastle. The amount of times that Brighton progressed the ball centrally, just through the lines, and then Rutter is just like driving with the ball at his feet. He's a very decent player. Bit worried about that, especially if you look at our midfield and the space that always exists. The one time where Liverpool looked really dangerous, on that counter-attack where Gakpo hit the post. And that ball through to Salah, who then turned and had like 15, 20 yards to run into. I'd worry about Rutter being able to do that against us. But somebody, as I said, it's in the headline and we can have a conversation about. And then we'll move on and we'll speak about all the other players. But JJ Gabriel. If you don't know who he is, where have you been? The fact that we're speaking this much about a 15-year-old, I think I've said this before multiple times. I mean, I know I have. I don't know why I'm saying I think. I know I have. Like, if you look at Max Dowman at Arsenal, I think David Ornstein yesterday confirmed that he's going to be signing scholarship terms, and the premise is that he's going to be signing his first pro contract when he signs 17 at Arsenal. And he's already made his Arsenal debut. Was he 15, 16? One of those two. Can't remember which. Clearly, the coaching in this country at grassroots level has improved so much. It has to have. Because there are just 13, 14, 15, 16-year-olds that are just like mind-boggling talents in ways that I just didn't think we had 5, 10 years ago. For JJ, this is his first season with the under-18s. I think Jason Wilcox stepped in this summer. Don't know whether Omar Barada did as well. But JJ Gabriel's already signed a deal with Nike, which is unusual for a lad that's 14. But if you watch him, and I'm sure you've seen like the videos of him like controlling a tennis ball and the technical qualities that he has. And with the under-18s this season, it's his first season under Darren Fletcher. Dude's been banging in goals, man. How many goals he scored? 6 goals? 7 goals? Don't quite know. But JJ Gabriel trained with the first team ahead of Brighton. So did Jim Thwaites, by the way. Not sure who else did. Yeah, look, you're saying Max Dowman's 15, won't be 16 until December. The fact that Max Dowman's doing that and he's already in the Arsenal first team. The fact that JJ Gabriel's just turned 15 and now he's training with Manchester United's first team. Like, people want to go down there. Got so you're saying, oh, could JJ be our own Lamine Yamal? People love doing this. JJ will be our own JJ if we manage to hold on to him, if he manages to come through into the first team. But the fact that he's trained with the first team is a big step for him. Now, there have been quite a few players. I don't know whether United have got a new policy in this season, whether it existed last season. I think it did. But there's quite a few. It almost feels like I don't know whether it happens every game week, but it feels like most game weeks, there's stories of, Jim Thwaites trained with the first team, or JJ Gabriel trained with the first team, or Shea Lacey trained with the first team. It's just good to see. Now, I have seen reports, I think it was from Nathan Salt from the Daily Mail, suggesting that because of Premier League rules, he wouldn't be able to make his debut in the league this season anyway. But probably if you're looking at someone like JJ Gabriel and you were considering him being in the first team squad environment, you'd be looking towards cup games. You'd be looking towards the FA Cup, wouldn't you? I think so. And you're saying it's time to be brutally ruthless. Like in life, decide what you want, let nothing stand in your way. This is the only way to success. I mean, I can't disagree with the comment. I'm not really sure what it's got to do with kind of where we're talking about, but in terms of JJ Gabriel, man, the kid is clearly a level above from a technical perspective. There's no question. Of course, the questions would always be asked about whether you can do it physically, blah, blah, blah. But he's had a very good season in terms of development. Now, I just want to show you a quick clip here. This is from a video we did, how long ago? 3 months ago. We did this video because everybody was talking about JJ Gabriel, so I felt it was appropriate to do this. Right? It's just the end of the video. Just a little bit on JJ Gabriel. Academy staff need to be careful not to rush his physical development. There should be a clear plan for his progression through the age groups. Support for the mental side of dealing with the attention will be crucial, and the club can learn from previous experiences with young players. Understanding the importance of keeping things in perspective, I'd say, will be key. JJ's family will need to be part of this process, working together to ensure he continues his football, and this support structure will be vital as he continues to develop. There is absolutely no doubt that JJ Gabriel... Too many me's. Anyway, if you want to go, I'll drop the link to this video. This is just a little 8-9 minute video on his development so far. Richard saying, Sam, what were you doing when you were 15? Mate, when I was 15, let's get that off the screen. It's way too many me's. When I was 15, I was a little dick. I was not a good kid. Just didn't really agree with education. Just found it a bit boring. And I just mixed with the wrong people. I think I went to passed my 11 plus and went to a grammar school. When you went into the school, they ranked you when you went in. And it was like, I said, it was like 100. I'm not proud of this, by the way. It's just kind of showing you what I was. There was like 110 kids in the year, and I went in at like number 20. And by the end of year 8, I was literally the bottom. I had some fall from grace between year 7 and year 8. But it all worked out in the end, all right? I'm a nice guy now. Just didn't particularly like school. Anyway, JJ Gabriel's training with the first team. Exciting. Let's continue seeing what the lad does. But from where he was last season to the season he's having with the under-18s to training with the first team, it's all going in the right direction for him. Let's speak about some more senior players now. Ahead of the game on Saturday night. And Mbeumo, Yoro, and Ahmad, you're kind of looking there and going, might be looking at our right flank for a good while. Yoro, right centre-back, Ahmad, right wing-back, and Mbeumo, right attacking midfielder. It feels like if we compare that to the left-hand side, what we've got down the left, we've got Luke Shaw right now, we've got Dorgu, and you've got Cunha. I wouldn't really say that it doesn't really feel like any partnerships are building on that left-hand side just yet. I think going into the season, I was looking forward to seeing what Dorgu and Cunha can do. But Cunha's ended up playing a lot more central. So I wouldn't really say there's been too much opportunity for link-up play. But that right-hand side, Ahmad and Mbeumo linked up for the first time with that goal against Liverpool. And Burnley and Sunderland were two other games where they played really well. Euro, I think, what's your take on how you think Euro will be feeling? Because I think it was the Chelsea game where he was left out for De Ligt and Maguire, and obviously Liverpool. And United won both games, so let's be honest. Ruben Amorim was justified in doing that. But this is where, at top level, you're going to have to carefully manage all of your players. Being able to keep every Manchester United player happy this season with game time is pretty much impossible because we have no European football. Do you think Lenny Yoro comes back into the starting 11 against Brighton? Type yes or no in the chat. Richard, you were busy worrying about spots and trying to get a girlfriend. Man, I was like your cliche, bad-looking teenager. I was ginger. I had spots. I had train track braces for like 4 years. And I was fat. Somehow. Some girls still wanted me. I have no idea. I literally have no idea. The overwhelming majority of you are saying yes down in the chat. A couple of you are saying no, but I'm gonna go for like 80, 85, 15. Sin, you think it might be the same team as Liverpool? I personally think the Euro comes back into this game. I do anyway. But anyway, let's speak about these three lads individually. You got Mbumo, who's speaking about his celebration. Oh, you know what I really, really, really want? Zig. But what I'd love to see probably the most against Brighton is see Cunha getting his first goal. Really want Cunha to get that goal, man. I don't know whether it's going to be a open the floodgates sort of thing, but the way that Cunha's been playing for United, I think he really deserves it. I think a lot of his work off the ball has been benefiting the team rather than kind of getting him into the best positions. I really want to see him get his first goal for United against Brighton. I'd love to see our front three. I'd love to see Šeško score, Cunha score, and Mbumo score. Bang. 3-0. Brighton. Goodbye. Slapped up. Manny, you're saying what I want to see is Heaven, Dorgu, and Cunha, or Martinez, Dorgu, and Cunha. The common denominator there is you just don't want to see Luke Shaw. Look, to give him credit, Luke Shaw played well against Liverpool. Have to credit him. I think there was one point where he covered back really well and actually hunted down the space. But yeah, if Martinez can cut, I know it's unlikely. Very aware it's unlikely, but if Martinez comes back, maintains his fitness, and can somehow bring back the Martinez that we had under Ten Hag, my God, it is going to level up our team quite a bit. Certainly when it comes to playing out from the back, which is still a bit of a kryptonite for us. If Sam was a fruit, he'd be a peach. As a random comment. What would I be? You know, I eat kiwis. I just eat the skin because I can't be bothered to peel them. Thought I'd let you know that little fun fact about me. Because I get looked down upon quite a lot for that. Anyway, Mbumo. Šeško lover. Wonder who you like. I'd love to see Šeško score his first hat-trick against Brighton. Chill your boots. I think United have lost 6 out of our last 7 against Brighton in the league. Like, to say that they're our bogey team, which they are, I think really quite downplays it. They've been pumping us. They have had our number. They have had us on lock for a while. Some of you don't agree with the Kiwis. Some of you do. I do love Kiwi, though. I wouldn't do that with orange, though. I'm not a psycho. Anyway, Mbumo. I hope he scores again. Yoro. I think the Yoro comes back into that team. Ian, you're asking whether I've seen the Footy with an Edge video on The Athletic. Yeah, we spoke about it in the podcast as well. I covered quite a lot of what they did. I think he went probably more in detail onto the numbers and the data behind a video that JJ Gabriel was doing. I called out the really odd Sheshko scouting worst signing vibe story. Anyway, Yora, hope he starts. And then Ahmad. It feels like Ahmad, obviously, he had the family bereavement. We don't know how close that bereavement was, but it affects everybody. Of course it does. He came back. Was it the Sunderland game he came back for that? I can't remember. I think it might have been. Was it the Chelsea game that he was left out of? I remember exactly. But against Liverpool, I thought Ahmad looked really good. I actually thought he had the hardest task because Gakpo was basically all of Liverpool's attacking threat. And it was down that Ahmad side, and he was getting in behind him quite a few times. But I think defensively, overall, he played quite well. And he got the assist. Alex saying starting a lineup video that's going out at 12 p.m. today. Don't you worry about that. But yeah, I hope Ahmad, from now on, keeps that position at right wing back. It's been kind of changing sometimes this season. Delo coming in, and sometimes Delo's left wing back. No, just keep Ahmad there at right wing back. And I actually think, for me as well, it's quite an important part of what makes Amorim's system either defensive-minded or attack-minded, is who plays at wing-backs. Because if you play defenders at wing-backs, you play Delo on the right-hand side, and then you play Luke Shaw on the left-hand side. You're playing with the back five. But if you're playing Dorgu and you're playing Ahmad, you're playing with players who want to get on the front foot, who want to go forward and want to supplement the attack by being the wingers and being the width. That's a little bit of a difference with Amorim's formation for me. So fingers crossed. Ahmad starts at right wing back against Brighton. Could have a busy game. Brighton are going to have some strength on that. It's just going to be, it's going to be an easy game. And we still don't know whether, I'll tell you what, let me do a poll. Let me see what you think the result's going to be. Result. United win. Draw. Brighton win. Let me know what you think. What are you saying down here? It's definitely saying Ahmad just needs a goal. Cheeky hat-trick will do nicely. Was it a hat-trick he got against Southampton from right wing back? I think that was a hat-trick, wasn't it? Someone down there saying Delo's the elephant in the room for me. Delo for me, genuinely, I think he's worth like 30, 40 million in the market. Just really can see United being able to sell Delo for a good price and being able to reinvest that into a player which technically suits this squad better. I would honestly rather see Delo play as right centre-back than I would see him play as right wing-back. I think he'd be a better player for United at right centre-back. Someone down there, Manny, are asking whether Mazraoui's back. He was training this week. I imagine you see Mazraoui in the squad. I don't know whether you see Mazraoui in the starting 11. Someone saying you see Mazraoui should start. Nah. Ahmad at right wing back. For sure. Delo in for long throws. I mean, you'd laugh at that now, but it is. Are long throws becoming more of an actual strategy that more teams are using? Or are we just getting a little bit more visibility of it because Delo seemingly is starting to do long throws? As I'm saying, obviously, Arsenal do them. Who else does them? It feels like quite a lot of teams do them now. Because they are bloody dangerous. If you get one of those ridiculous long throwers who arrows it in the box, it is a cross. What are we saying down here? Stephen saying Ahmad has to play right wing back. It's a total no-brainer. And someone else down there saying, you know what the poll result's going to be? I do know what the poll result's going to be. 87% are saying United win. Well, I'm in agreement for you. I'm going to go for it. You were right against Liverpool. Let's keep the run going. And football as a whole, people are relying on set plays. Well, Arsenal do. Newcastle have got it. Sunderland. It was a Sunderland against us. That guy was nuts. His throw-ins were mad. it might just be a part of a current trend of, because football tactics kind of shift on a year-by-year basis. If you look at Pep Guardiola's City and you compare the tiki-taka that he first came in to the Space Jam villain team that he built, it's because football changed in those few years he was the City manager, and he goes, and the tiki-taka that worked before doesn't work anymore. It has become a lot more physical, and set pieces are a significant part of it. Let's be honest, it's mainly the reason why Arsenal have got a chance of winning the league this year, because of how threatening they are from set pieces and how good they are at defending their own box. They found a bit of a formula. It's got to be the most un-Arsenal formula as far as the Arsenal that I remember in the league. But hey, if it wins you the league, your rivals can laugh at you, but if it wins you the league, you're not going to listen to a damn thing they say. Results are everything and trophies are everything. Rich saying a win on Sunday would have us just doubling down on our confidence. A win against Brighton. Now look, I'm not going to be as crazy as to say that Man United beating Brighton on Saturday is a bigger result and a bigger game than United beating Liverpool. But here's a caveat. I don't think there was any fan that doubted, you might say it's Captain Hindsight, I don't think it is. I don't think there was any United fan that doubted United had the ability to turn up against Liverpool. We've shown it against City away, against Arsenal away, against Liverpool away last season under Amorim, multiple different occasions. In these bigger games, United have the ability to just turn up and go, boom, there it is. Great. We've seen it a few times. However, in these sorts of games, man, have we come undone. Whether it's Brighton or Bournemouth or Everton or Villa, I suppose you could throw into that. These sorts of games that don't have the allure and the shine and the prestige of a Liverpool away or anything like that, they kind of G's you up. You already have the adrenaline rush into it. It's these games where United have fallen so bloody often that it's a bit painful. And that's why I don't think it's a bigger game than Liverpool. But you might argue it's equally as important for showing progression this season. Do you kind of know what I mean? Well, I want to see what you're saying in the chat. Tony saying everything should be a big game at this point. I suppose everything always is a big game with United. And maybe it's because it's early this season. Maybe it's just because it's United. But the point swings right now, like 6 points between us and top. A win and a couple of results wrong above us, we could probably jump into, I don't know, where could we finish this weekend? That's what I mean about it being like so many things can change. Let's have a quick look at the fixtures around the league. And let's have a look at saying like best case scenario. So, Leeds are at home against West Ham. Well, you'd expect them to spank there. It doesn't really matter. Chelsea at home against Sunderland. Could be a cheeky draw. Newcastle, you'd probably expect them to beat Fulham. Liverpool away to Brentford. Could be a poopy stinker for them. Hope it is. Don't really know. You'd imagine Arsenal will beat Palace. You imagine City will beat Villa. Bournemouth, they're probably going to beat Forest. Wolves, Burnley, reeks of a draw. Everton, Spurs, back in Everton for that one. So who could drop points above us? I think City will win, as I said. Arsenal, I imagine they win. Bournemouth, they're playing Forest. I imagine they win. Liverpool could drop points. Chelsea could drop points. You could see United get into, I don't know, as high as the top 4, really. I don't think they'll get into the top 4. But if United ended this weekend inside the top 6, that would be delightful. Don't know whether it's going to happen or not. We'll find out. They're the games this weekend. Too many games. Trying to get it all on screen. There you go. Someone down there saying Arsenal Palace will be a draw. Let's just go game by game. Someone saying in the comments that's exactly what Ruben Amorim tries to do. He's like, well, I'll enjoy the Liverpool game, but then we go again next week. When you're manager of Manchester United, and these are like different ways of managing, but important strategies that you have to do in management. You have to have micro goals. Your main goal might be, win the league at the end of the season, which is great. That's great as your main goal. But if you have that as your main goal and you don't have little goals that you can knock off throughout the season, it's going to be really hard to stay focused and, just kind of hard to stay focused. If you have the micro, focus on this next game. Focus on this. Small attainable goals that help you towards your ultimate target. It's kind of a management strategy. It's pretty normal. It's nothing to do with Ruben Amorim being special, but it's how you keep people motivated. And right now at United, you can't look past the next game, can you? You really can't look past the next game because you don't know whether United are going to, Jekyll or Hyde's going to turn up. But we've won 2 on the spin now. We can make it 3 by beating Brighton. After that, that's what I mean. I already said at the start of the show. We then go and face Sean Dyche's Forest for their first league game under their new manager after sacking Postecoglou and bringing in Dyche. Not going to be an easy game. They might win this weekend. Who are they playing? Bournemouth? I think it was Bournemouth, wasn't it? But hopefully they'll lose that one. The micro goals are on a weekly basis. Win the next match and on to the next. Someone says down there. Ant, you're saying, I imagine Ruben's tomorrow will be a clean sheet and trust the front line to do the business. You know, one thing that's good. We don't have to talk about Bayindir anymore, do we? It feels like, to me anyway, that game against Liverpool was the last time, for now anyway, I suppose things can change, but the last time that we need to have a conversation about Le Mans should start and he needs to be in goal and this and that. He's just our goalkeeper now. We've got a new goalkeeper. We've got a new number 1. We don't really need to have a conversation about him every week. He's just going to be our starting goalkeeper. And that's good. And it only took him 2 games. And as I said, those 2 games are the first time that Ruben Amorim has won 2 consecutive games. Coincidence? I don't particularly think so. But yeah, I hope that we don't. I hope. Give it, I don't know, give it a month or so. I hope that none of us are really having a conversation about our goalkeeper anymore. Move on. Focus on other things. Goalkeeper's just doing that's his job. But he is doing his job properly. And it's refreshing. I did see his training videos, but not really going to look into that too much. Although, dude's an athlete. That bit where he jumps up from his knees onto his feet, jumps onto his right foot, stands on one leg, boom. Guy's got balance. Guy's got strength. And he's quite an imposing goalkeeper as well. He's 6'4". Dude's big. Someone down there saying, when I saw Schmeichel hugging Le Mans before the Liverpool game, it sold him to me. Schmeichel shouldn't have joined City. He's such an idiot for doing that. Why would you do that? Why did Schmeichel do it? I'm sure we've spoken about that before. But what stupid way to add an unnecessary stain to your United career. Because he left and joined somewhere else and he just came back and I swear he was only at City for like half a season as well. How many times did Schmeichel play for City? Random question. I don't actually know the answer to this. Also can't spell Schmeichel's name. Let's have a look. He went to City for 29 appearances. What's the point? Idiot. Right. 2 things I want to do. Number 1. Come on, it's the map. Let me know where you're watching from. What country and what city. And I'll add you onto the map. What are we saying down here? Manny's saying it's about intensity. We push hard early. We will break them. See, that's probably where I'll disagree, Manny. And I will explain that in my Start 11 video. So I think if you do that, you're very much playing to Brighton's hands. And that's where we will become undone. Do not be surprised if we employ a similar tactic to what we used against Liverpool, because if we try to press and we try to go aggressive against Brighton, I think we'll get played through. And I don't think it'll be a pretty game. João, you're watching from Azambuja in Portugal. Where the hell's that? I mean, it's Portugal, you just told me. Azambuja. Lisbon. Like a bit of Lisbon. One of my best mates lives just outside Lisbon now. I need to go visit his new house. What did we... What we got down here? We've got any new places? Any new places? We've got Mike watching from Carmarthen in Wales. That good? I think that was a bad accent. Probably wasn't good. I'll be honest. And Darren watching. Is that a place? 5 Mile Town in Northern Ireland. I didn't know that place existed. Cool. That's 3 of you on the map. Let's get one more. We've got Brian watching from Astana in Kazakhstan. Now, that's cool. Was it United who played Astana? I'm sure it was. Who was it that we played in Kazakhstan? Because I remember loads of lads who went on the European away trip. And they got some mad, 5-star sweet hotel for 40 quid a night with a balcony and a hot tub. I remember that. Random, as it is. Yep, United is completely global, and so is this community. I want to say apologies for no progress on the community side of things right now. Kind of struggling with a few things, if I'm being completely honest. Because of everything I do now, I have no chance and time to manage a community. And yeah, we've run into some problems. So I apologize about that, but work is still going on in the background. Last minute or two of the show, fire in your questions. All right? I'm going to the game tomorrow, so match reaction will be from somewhere. I don't know where. I don't like doing it in the stadium, so it won't be from in the stadium. But fingers crossed we win. It'll be big. It'll be big. Richard saying, why was Veron considered a flop at United? We signed Veron when we had Scholes and Keane. We had such a filthily stacked squad that you couldn't really fit Veron into it. I mean, he wasn't a flop at United, but it was just, I think the expectations were for him to come in and just, play Keane or Scholes out of it, which is never really going to happen. I don't think it was a bad signing, but I think we were just so stacked in that situation. Jonas saying, why is the studio not red anymore? Bam! Welcome to the cavern. Red light district. Only Sam's. Let's get dancing. Anyway, it's a little bit doom and gloom with that. But I think the white light makes it a little bit brighter. Ian, you and your dad are going tomorrow? Well, maybe I'll see you outside the Stretty. Abakar watching from the Gambia. How you doing, buddy? Neo saying, watched your video about the stadium. Thought it was fantastic, lovely pace. Definitely top 3 videos you made. Thank you very much, dude. Yeah, as I said, I was really aware how much slower the pace was in that video, but so many of you have enjoyed it. And it's awesome because that then shows us that we can do more documentary style stuff rather than YouTube style stuff because they're different. Sometimes there's YouTube methods that engage users, but not necessarily in documentaries. So this is just the content evolving a bit more. All right. Thank you all for tuning in. I'll be back here. Well, I'll tell you what's going on. 12 p.m. today, start an 11 video for the Brighton game. Tomorrow, the reaction for the Brighton game. Sunday, I'll be doing what we learned, probably from a hotel room. Monday, we'll be back here live and direct. All right. Have a cracking weekend, everybody. Hope you enjoy yourself. And Common United, make it 3 and beat Brighton, please. End that hoodoo. Take it easy.